Let's hope it will do.
I'm reading. Meeting is now streaming live on YouTube.
Yeah, it says setting up your meeting. Okay, so it is good. So when it starts, it seems that we are online because we are learning. Dragi gledatelji, sada ćemo na nekako hrvatskom uvesti. Sad smo na novoj platformi, radi se o Zoomu. Pokušavamo se snalaziti kako znamo i umijemo. I danas ćemo, za one koji ne govore hrvatski, možda vas malo na neki način i oštetiti, zato što ćemo pokušati razgovor voditi sa jednom osobom kojoj se priča ovih dana, a to je Švedska. I u Švedskoj ili Finska jedan drugačiji pogled na koronu i sve ono što bi se trebalo u koroni paziti, na koji način ćemo se ponašati. Švedska je učinila nešto drugačije, ali i tamo ima nečega što je, dakle, utjecaj na sve nas, na kako smo mi na neki način gledali ovu priču prije možda 3-4 tjedna, možda i mjesec dana, tako još uvijek gledaju i u Švedskoj. Pa mi ćemo sada se prebaciti na engleski i naš prijatelj koji je iz Malma se najavlja, gospodin Magnus Gerten, on je redatelj, producent. Magnus, hello to you from Croatia.
Hello, good to see you today, Robert. Hope you're doing well.
Well, more or less, just a second, because we have to change our outfit, how we are working on it. Is because I'm learning, it's sometimes very hard for you to learn new ways of doing it. And I hope that our viewers are seeing you today. Oh yeah, I think they're seeing you. So anyway.
That's good.
It looks good.
If I look good, then I want them to see me. Otherwise, you can just take it away.
Your haircut looks better than mine because we are in a situation that we cannot go to hairdressers. You see, I'm doing my hair myself.
Okay. But you look artistic.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe this will bring us some artistic view today. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that we in Croatia, we have had a possibility and the situation to talk about Corona in different ways. We decided that we will use this moment of isolation in Croatia to build up a platform called Ad Plus. And it seems that more or less you're coming to the same thing as we.
Yeah.
How it is in Sweden these days, because it seems that from what we see from the news, that there is not much information about Corona situation, and that you are treating this, or your government is treating it totally different from other countries in the European Union today.
Yeah, I think it's slightly different. It's not that far away from how you are doing it, but formally we are still allowed to have meetings with 50 people in Sweden. You're allowed to go out. You can go to your work, etc. But there's also very strong recommendations that if it's possible, you should work from home. A lot of schools are doing the education from the teaching from through online, and I think we all are going into some kind of isolation. But formally it's not as bad as it is in certain other countries. So Sweden is. I think Sweden is testing to keep up the society a little bit to see can society still function on a very low level, so we don't close down everything. But maybe, we don't know. Everything is changing every day. So in two days from now, everything might be closed down in Sweden too.
Mm-hmm. But when you talk about maybe in 2 days it will be closed in Sweden too, it came gradually to us. We had 50, like 100 people, first 1,000 people, 500 people, then 100, and then 50. You are now the number of 50. I think I heard that information. Yes. So, but what it does to you? Tell me.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it has to do with the curve. Maybe we are a bit later on the curve than you are. So for sure, Sweden has been affected a bit later than other countries like Italy or, of course, China, etc. So, but if we are lucky, we might be able to flatten the curve enough. But you know, everything is like in every country. It's a crisis in when it comes to hospitals, intensive care. It's emergency plans all over. Businesses are closing down immediately. A lot of restaurants, my favorite restaurants, are closing down like bang, like this. So there's a lot of things we need to take care of when it's all over. But it's very hard to see what to do. Shall I take a risk and go and support my local restaurant or not? Because I know if I don't go there, they have to close down.
Yeah, well, I can agree with that, and that is also with the business, because you're in the film industry, as some of us here guys are, and we had to stop the shootings, we had to stop producing, and I think that affects a lot also to the film industry in Sweden.
Absolutely. I mean, especially if you're having like a big fiction production or making a TV series, and you're in the middle of the shootings and you have to send everyone home. It's of course, it's a very, very tough situation for those. And for me and because I'm into the documentary business, it's a bit different, but still it means that my new film, we had 2 big premieres in Copenhagen and Toronto. Those festivals had to close down. And Copenhagen had a little bit of online screenings, but otherwise it's totally dead, which means also that you're not able to sell your film, you're not able to meet the finances to get money to your new projects. So it goes quite quickly, everything. Suddenly we don't see that money are coming into our business, and everyone is of course working without any wages right now. I'm happy I have a cheap rent for my home, and I still have some wine in my fridge, and I have food, and I live in a privileged country, so I could never complain in that sense. But it's affecting us all, and there's a lot of things to build up when this is all over.
So when this is all over, it seems that we don't know how long it will be. We are like 3 weeks after Italy breakdown in a high peak, and you are probably 2 or 3 weeks after us, because everybody's talking and looking how everybody else, like from China, had months and months and preparation for what will happen to all of us if it will happen. But mostly people are not now concerned about in Croatia, also, as we understood, about the fact that the coronavirus is in Croatia, but they are concerned, and mostly they are, I think, in Croatia, abiding by the new rules, but they're afraid about the economy and post situation after Corona. I said once 2 days ago with a psychologist in Croatia, I said post Corona time, and he said, "You sound so apocalyptic."
Yeah, I mean, you easily get some kind of apocalyptic feelings here. I mean, there's a big question of course, how do we take care of ill people? How do we take care of the economy? And is there a point where we need to take more care of the economy than of the people who are sick? Because when everything else breaks down, it's people will get sick by don't having any jobs and so on. So that's of course a big ethical question in a way. How much do you close down close down society? I think in a way, if you get philosophical about it, in a way it's good to take a break in society. It's good for the nature. It's good for us not running to the shops, buying things that we don't need anyhow, etc. So in that sense, there's something good with it as well, and we all go into ourselves, and we listen to more music, we read more books. I can see all those things as well.
Yeah, but when we talk about the fact that what you can do and what is the possibility of doing some stuff like reading books and everything, but the problem is, are we in a situation that we are trying to find a way how to be creative and economically stable in the time which will come to us?
Sorry, I couldn't really hear you. There were some disturbances here.
Yeah, so I'm going to repeat it. What you have said is that there is a possibility that we, in a way, can spend our time now in a different way because we cannot do anything. Try to be differently creative, try to read a book, spend the time with yourself. And that is one of the way of coping with the isolation, which will be in future happening to us. But what do you say about, I'm coming back to the situation when you said that there will be problem with some kind of fiction films production because they cannot do the fiction. How do you think how the cultural part of Sweden will, in financial way, cope with everything which will come as a consequences of this corona in Sweden? Or maybe you will not have, you think, this kind of isolation we have?
I'm sure we will be very much affected by this, and in many ways, I think the cultural life will be thrown back 15 years in a way, because we will lose small theater groups, we will lose filmmakers, musicians. They're not able to support themselves on playing live, etc. So we will lose a lot, but. In a way, when it comes to culture and artists, they have always been living on the edge, living on nothing. So in a way, we don't have as much to lose as everyone else because we have already been surviving on almost anything. But there will definitely be a big effect. But it also, in a way, to me, this situation triggers I mean, not only depression and going into yourself, it also triggers your creativity, your survival power. I really feel, okay, I'm not going to be knocked down by this virus or by that the society is closing down. I have too many good ideas. I have too many films I want to do. And I also feel that we are in this together in a way. I'm isolated here, but now I'm talking to you, and I had so many messages from all my international friends these last 2 weeks, because now you realize who is important to you, and to me, many of my international friends, because I'm in an international community, I realize how much they mean to me, and. So there is good things happening as well.
So what I like the positive attitude which you have accepted, but and hope that the message to those who understand in Croatia English, and there are many of those who are bilingual. One of the things which I heard this morning, and maybe it's wrong information, is that in these days, which are behind you and probably the upcoming, is that you don't have too much information about what you should do, and that the Swedish attitude of the government is like, okay, be careful about hygiene, wash your hands, that's it. Let's go on as much as we can. Does this make you uncomfortable seeing the pictures all around the world?
Well, we all feel uncomfortable with things, and when you see the representatives of the Swedish government, the Swedish health authorities, you feel that this is This is a very urgent situation. This is serious business. And so far, I think it works very well because we have like daily press conferences, daily updates from the government and from the health authorities. And we have this open, very transparent, democratic way of transferring information here in Sweden. So I think that so far is working well. But I would say a big problem would be the social media comments, that there are so many conspiracy theories out there. There's social media right-wing campaigns against the government because we have a social democratic liberal government. So the more right-wing commentators on social media, they feel, okay, this is our chance to say that the Swedish government they're just playing Russian roulette with our lives, etc. But I'm not an expert on virus. I don't have any medical education at all. So I need to trust the government and the medical expertise. So that's what I'm doing. And I think it works quite well so far. But we don't know. I mean, if they need to close down society even more, there's even more possibilities that and then that would be the worst thing if we start, if we are losing the lose trust in the authorities and in the government, and people are taking their own decisions. That would be the worst thing. We need to actually this time, as an artist, you don't want to listen to the government. You don't want to listen to people in high positions what to do. But today, I'm listening to them. I have to say, I'm like a very obedient citizen of my country. I think that's what we all need to do.
I can agree with you. It's the same situation here in Croatia, and we are all supporting this because even at Plus platform is promoting as we speak and how much we can stay at home hashtag, because I think that it's important to put the trust in those who know about this topic. We are just, as we said, filmmakers, journalists, people who are not of science, and we have to put the trust on them when we do this situation, coping with it in a way. I think they are doing the best way they can. Sometimes in Italy, there is a theory that in Italy it was not done so much in the sense that it should be so better than it is now. But what we have now situation in Croatia, I think it goes well. It goes as it should. So the trust, as you said, in the government, in Croatia, even changing when we are talking about the question of coronavirus situation. But when we talk about the films which you are making, which you are doing, what is your plan now? You said you had a premiere in Copenhagen, which you didn't postpone, and in CPH Docs. And now, what is your plan for the future with your film?
Yeah, I premiered, I mean, actually this weekend I premiered a film called Only the Devil Lives Without Hope. And it's about a young woman, a political refugee who lives in Sweden. She's a political refugee from Uzbekistan, you know, former Soviet republic. And when I met her, she told me the story about having her brother in a prison in a remote desert in Uzbekistan. And that prison is called the Place of No Return, or the House of Torture. And he's accused of being a terrorist, being like a courier to Bin Laden, etc. But it's all about a fake trial. It's all about the war on terror. You throw everyone into jail. So that was the starting point of this film. And so I've been following her struggle to try to get in contact with a brother in this prison, because when the film starts, she has not been in contact with him for 9 years, not a sign of life in 9 years. And I started to shoot in 2016. So that's one of the storylines in the film. Then there's another storyline in the film, which is about, and I don't want to spoil the film, but she marries a man who turns out to be a completely different man than she thought he would be. So there's a thriller element as well.
What I hope for you that we will see soon your film, and I hope that you will continue in working even in this situation. Probably we can stay in contact and see how situation in Sweden develops and how it is situation in Malmö, because there are a lot of non-Swedish people. Malmö is known as a city of immigrants, as far as I understood. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. We have a lot of Croatians as well.
I've heard when I met, when I visited you at the Nordics Panorama, that is when I realized how big ex-Yugoslavia community it is, with the Croatian, with Bosnian, Serbs, but also a lot of Arabs. And this community, you mentioned that there is a situation with right-wing parties. How it is these days with the situation of connecting or living with non-Swedish nationality people, citizens in Sweden, in Malmö, for example?
I mean, Malmö is very international. Malmö is in a way targeted internationally as a city that is full of Muslims, full of immigrants, etc. So we've been hearing criticism of what Malmö is for so many years, and the right-wing movement in Sweden always points to Malmö and says we don't want it to be like that. But the good thing now is that everyone is just talking about how to survive what the situation right now. So there's no room for these right-wing movements to complain about immigrants right now. So we are more getting together in a way. So hopefully that keeps on. We feel more unity in society in a situation like this.
Anyway, I think that our connection is a little bit survived this talk for two of us, because it says the network bandwidth is low all the time. So, but I thank you for your half an hour of your time today on Saturday. And I hope that everything in Sweden, maybe it will not go as in other countries in the European Union, and maybe that you will stay as you are, not in lockdown as we are.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be able to talk to you. It's always nice to be connected to the outer world, and hope we can talk under better circumstances next time. But take care. Good care of yourself and your family and your friends.
Thank you very much for joining us, Magnus. Hvala vama što ste bili sa nama, svi koji ste na neki način mogli razumjeti naš razgovor, koji je bio nešto malo isprekidan sa mojim pidgin Englishom, ali trudili smo se kako smo znali i umjeli. Magnus nam je dao nekakav uvid u švedsko društvo danas. Sutra ćemo vjerovatno sa novim gostom nas iznenaditi i javit ćemo na vrijeme, jer sve je nestabilno, pa ne želimo ništa obećavati, od Wi-Fi veze do interneta, pa i do gostiju koji se ponekad bila u ovoj situaciji. Ali čuvajte se i ostanite dobro.